Okay, well, we will call to order the April 11 Public Safety and Community Health Committee meeting. And we will start with approval of the minutes from March 7th. Someday we'll figure this out. Can I get a motion to
I
approve?
move for approval.
Second.
Okay, we've got a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, opposed?
Aye.
Okay, minutes are approved. Let's see, reports and updates. These are briefing only. There's no discussion. So they're in the packet. Photo red update and strategic initiatives update. So we'll start with, for our discussion items, our fire update from Chief Schaefer.
Hopefully this is able to work. I'm looking up at the, yep, okay. So just some contemporary items that I wanted to share within 10 minutes. First, some updates on some critical incidents that happened just within the first 10 days of April. And there has been some public comment. I can certainly address that as we go through. But the first was a rescue of an adult gentleman from 217 West Spokane Falls Boulevard, a 20-floor building, a fire in room 909. There was no life loss. The subject was burned, but he was rescued by our Tower 1 firefighters using an 85-foot platform, which was a reserve truck for the day. And it made it to the ninth floor just within inches. Really tested the capacity of the department. But it was 3 alarms. Took around 70 firefighters to traverse up to the 9th floor, spread leads down the hallways, and fight that fire and bring it to mitigation. We did activate the disaster medical control as a mass casualty because we had a number of people that were residents that were at risk and suffered medical ailments from not only the smoke and the products of combustion, but also obviously the excitement and some of their co-occurring disorders were complicating. The question that I've been asked from the public is, why was there not a sprinkler system? This building was built in 1974. The current code did not require sprinklers, automatic suppression systems, and therefore, without an act of legislation, the fire department cannot require retroactive sprinkling in these buildings. So we're forced to deal with the consequences of that. One short note that this did, the third alarm did require off-duty callbacks and additional overtime.
Chief, do you know the cause?
The cost for adding sprinklers on this?
The cause of the fire.
Oh, the cause, thank you. No, sir, that's still under investigation with the investigators with police and fire.
And Chief, is this the highest that somebody has been rescued from in a building that you can remember?
In my tenure, yeah, it absolutely is. It just happened to be that day our ladder 1, the tiller that's at Station 1 that would have been first due, was out of service due to an accident, and they were in the tower. The tower is only 85 foot, but realistically, you wouldn't think that it would make it, but the people that were on that truck that day recognized the imminent rescue, and they positioned it just within inches. So it was great tactical work by our people. It's
Nice.
very impressive.
How would you rescue somebody on a building higher than that?
Well, we could get up to about 10 floors. We've got 110-foot ladders, but besides that, that's when we have to do it from the inside, and then we rescue and bring them down to a floor that we can reach, take them out the window in that type of scenario, or take them down the evacuation stairwell. Either way, high-rise fires, regardless of where they are in the country, require just an enormous number of people because we have to bring our air up with us. We can only work in certain, oftentimes after you get up to the 9th floor with all that equipment, you're pretty exhausted, and then you have to work. So we try to, there's a whole system in how we manage those fires, but it's very personnel exhausted.
If there was a fire suppression system in this building, how many firefighters would have been required to be at this call?
It would have been a water, we call it a water job. The fire would have been suppressed by a single sprinkler, and very quickly. The result would be nobody would be hurt, and we wouldn't have had anything but probably a single or 2 company response, mainly to clean up the water, because in those situations we still have to get up fast, turn the water off before it makes its way to the other apartments.
So instead of 70 firefighters, it would have been 8,
4,
10,
yeah,
4?
4 to 8.
Okay.
Yeah. Thanks for the questions. Those are exactly what we've been asked by the community as well. The second one came in on Friday, right at the end of business. This was a wildland urban interface fire. Spokane Police Patrol actually arrested the person that was responsible for setting this one. Unfortunately, we were having a really unique wind event. We had 40-mile-an-hour gusts reported at the airport. It was only 45 degrees, but the RH, the relative humidity, was in the teens. So it allowed, because there was no moisture in the air, it allowed that fire to be carried by the wind, really unaffected by the calendar whatsoever. So we were seeing torching in trees. The fire burned up next to several residences, and we were able to stop it again with 3 alarms plus DNR. We did call for air resources. The air resources weren't staffed yet. It's simply just too early. We did order level 3 evacuations for about 24 properties within the direct line of the fire, and we were able to get those people evacuated into safety as the fire burned right up next to their homes. I left the fire line yesterday at 1700, 5 o'clock, and it's 100% contained and it's out, and most likely we'll have snow on it later this afternoon. Doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Everything was in alignment for us, and we're starting to see, like Boulder and many other communities that are in the urban interface, more incidents like this that are creating some pretty significant challenges for us. Another one that happened on Thursday, three alarm in an unsprinkled, again, building, commercial building that was not occupied at the time. You can see the amount of fire that we had in the middle building, which was only a 1-story with a full basement. However, the adjacent buildings, one to the east is a 6-story building, commercial, again, unprotected, but does have a standpipe, and the one to the west is a 2-story, again, used for storage, downtown, unreinforced masonry construction, extremely dangerous to fight fire in, but we essentially went defensive on the smaller building, the one where the fire originated from, and the other 2, we put firefighters inside with large hose lines at the fire doors and at the areas where the fire was starting to breach into those adjacent buildings, and we successfully kept it out of those buildings with just minor damage from the amount of heat. The middle building, the fire of origin, is going to be a complete loss. It was used for storage, doors. Overhauser is the owner, that is also remains under investigation by the Spokane Police and Fire Departments. Good news, no life loss, fortunately, and that turned out to be 3 alarms with multiple callbacks and impact to overtime.
Chief, one article I saw said that fire started in some sort of a garage. Is that true, or was that not accurate?
It's really anecdote at this time. The focus for us have been look for cameras, get as much information as we can. There is an overhang in the back of an adjacent building, the one to the east, where people were sleeping, and we actually saw about 5 people that left the area when we arrived, but that isn't where the fire originated. It originated in the building of origin, okay, at that main building. The only last thing I wanted to mention, because it was in the newspaper over the weekend, is just the amount of critical incidents that we've been dealing with on the medical side. Obviously, the multiple shooting, the mass casualty that we had downtown with those patients, but also just in the first 10 days of April, a significant amount of overdoses, cardiac arrests, and chest pains, as you can see. Those are all incidents just within the first days that people's lives were certainly in jeopardy. There was a couple of those that resulted in fatalities, but I just wanted to put that up there as an anecdote, or as just kind of an idea that not just fires, but we certainly had a lot of activity. 2 other questions that often come up, the staffing, just to give you a briefing. Currently, as we sit today, we have 38 vacant firefighter positions. Civil Service has done a great job at holding free tests here in Spokane. They're giving us a list of 129 candidates. The timeline for moving forward is, as you can see below there, May 9th, in-person interviews will offer. They have to go through their system for drug testing, psych, and physicals. And then in July, we'll already start interviewing for the next class, which is expected to start in 2023. Our goal is to get up to 40 people in this first recruitment. However, with the pension enhancement and the likelihood that we may not get all those people with this first recruitment, we'll definitely be holding a 2023-1 in the first part of next year. Any questions or concerns I can answer from that update?
So of those 38, out of the 129, how many positions do you expect to be filled?
It just really depends on who we get and the quality of people that we get. It's hard to tell. Is that me, you guys, or is that somebody
Just the
else?
system. We
Okay.
have to make a noise to start.
It just depends on the quality of the candidates. One thing that I made clear to the organization last month is that we are not going to drop our standards or to settle. So we'll continue to set the high standard and try to get as many as we can.
Well, I appreciate that. And then of the 129, so what's your typical hire rate when it comes to candidates? Of the 129, is it 10% or 20%?
Again, I haven't been able to get a good average put together. It totally depends on who we get. But like I explained on that one-on-one, we are competing against a multitude of departments across the country. So the sooner that we move, the better our options are at getting the top tier of people.
And we normally run a certain amount of academies a year, but this year we have increased the number of academies to fill those positions faster. Is that my understanding?
We have. We're remaining pretty flexible. The training division's given us a couple of options. We could run 2 academies or we can run 1 large academy. Whichever way we go, it is about $500,000 for a 20-person academy. So we are still finalizing those logistics on exactly how it's going to play out. There's a large number of people in the department that would rather see 1 big academy to make it easier for scheduling and logistics, but we're still trying to work those out.
And so there's going to be, obviously, we have another discussion item that's going to be coming up later today with firefighters that were let go. What is the cost of running and training a new firefighter versus bringing back somebody who was let go? What's the cost discrepancy there?
So we just brought 2 people back that had actually left the organization, went to other organizations. And to bring them back, the only cost was, I believe, a 2-week refresher, essentially. So pretty trivial in comparison to a new recruit, which, to run a school costs us $500,000.
Of the firefighters that have left and have gone and joined other departments, do we know how many would be willing to come back to Spokane Fire Department?
I do not know that, no.
Okay.
Any other questions from Councilmember Stratton or Council President? Okay, next up is Chief Meidel. Thank you, Chief Schaefer.
Thank you, Chief.
Good morning, council members. So I was asked to give a brief update on the crime around the Washington DOT campsite out there on 2nd Avenue. So according to crime analysis, when you're looking at, we're looking at 34-day chunks because of when we got security. We also made this what we call a mission focus for patrol, which means that during their discretionary times, we want our officers to go through this area, make contacts, be a visible presence as well. So when you're going through 34-day chunks, we'll start with the last 34 days since December 16th until April 6th. There have been, within a quarter mile of that area, there have been 854 incidents. So about the last 34-day, 854 incidents. If you go back a year ago in that same time frame, you're looking at 539 incidents. And then in 2019, 619 incidents. 2018, 602 incidents. And then in 2017, 587 incidents. So again, when you're looking at it overall, compared to the last 1 year, the incidents within a quarter mile of that camp has risen 58.4%. and we're looking at a 4-year average, again, for that 34-day period within a quarter-mile radius, you're looking at a 45.6% increase in that area. So that's obviously we're seeing an increase in calls for service in that area. And again, we have private security out there. We also have made that a mission focus for us as well. We've been working with the Department of Transportation as well. I know the city administration has. And if you want to just break it down again by 34-day chunks going back to December 26th to January 28th, again within a quarter mile. So the end of December to the end of January, 218 incidents. And then the end of January to the beginning of March, 286 incidents. And then for about the last month, 292 incidents. So the last 34 days up 2%, but compared to the past two 34-day chunks, I know 34 days seems like an odd number, but that's again when we've really focused on it's up about 16% in the incidents in that area.
Could- You lost me somewhere in there because
Okay.
I heard like a 45% and then I heard 16%. So what, I didn't quite
Okay,
understand
so
that.
the first data set that I read to you was look at the same time frame going back the past 4 years compared to this year.
Right.
So you're looking at the exact same, because you look at seasonal differences, the weather gets cold. So when you're looking at that same time frame of about a month, going back 4 years compared to the current month, it has gone up 45.6%.
But which month are you talking about? The last 30 days, 34?
I'm sorry, so from the last, let me clarify that. I may have misspoke. So when you're looking at mid-December,
So
to-
4 months. kind of.
4 months.
4 months,
4
okay.
months currently compared to 4 months in 2020, compared to 4 months in 2019, 18,
Right,
17.
okay.
So when you compare those 4 months,
Right.
it's gone up 45.6% when you're averaging out how much it's gone up in those 4 months currently.
But
Year
what
to-
about the last month going back to those other years?
Correct. So the last month has gone up. The last month, it's from where we started, when we started measuring, we really saw the increase in campers at that location. And you're looking at it increasing month by month. For the last 3 months, it's gone up 15.9% consecutively from 1 month, the past 1 month, going back 3 months. It's gone up 15.9%.
Okay.
Yeah, that's, sorry,
But
that's
what
a bit
about,
confusing.
I guess my question is, if you have it, is the most recent month of data in 2022 compared to 21, 2019, 18? Because we put in, if I understand, we put in some procedures to minimize it. So I'm just checking, now that we have those in,
Still-
what's the comparison?
Still going up. And that's why we use that time frame. That's
Yeah.
why we use the time frame, so we could compare, since we put additional resources there and additional focus there, we're still seeing those numbers tick up.
Okay.
Do you have that percentage for us of, since those additional procedures have gone in, the increase?
Right, yeah. So again, when you're looking at, and I'll just say mid-December is when we started to put additional resources and focus on that area. That's what we're comparing
Okay.
to. We pick specifically, like, when did we start focusing additional resources on this area? And then let's compare that to prior years. And then let's also, so that's a separate prior years, 45.6% increase, even with additional resources since the camp has been there. But then let's also just see what it's doing, in essence, month to month for the last 3 months. So there's 2 different data sets there.
Yeah. And just for anybody who's watching, could you give an example of the additional focus that we've put in that area?
So we have a private security that's out there as well, keeping, basically trying to be a presence, being an extra set of eyes for us. We have an additional officer out there as well, focusing, being an additional set of eyes. I know Fred Myers, from what I understand, Fred Myers has also hired WSP to be private security out there because they've seen an increase in issues. And then we have the mission, we call it a mission focus, which is really a procedure we got from LAPD, which means when an officer's not going to calls and they have discretionary time, in other words, they're not on a call, the officers go to that area for a presence, for contacts, and just being in that area, being seen, but also making contacts as well.
And on a typical shift, how much discretionary time would an officer have?
It really varies day to day, but I would say overwhelmingly, not much. Yeah, not much. Graveyard, obviously, the night shift, especially after 2 a.m., you're going to probably have a lot more discretionary times. Most people are sleeping in bed. But during the day, starting 6 to 8 in the morning, the calls start coming in. People wake up, find out their car's been broken into or something's happened while they're sleeping, and that's when we see those calls start to stack.
And so the numbers you mentioned, it was 200 something, but the most recent was the highest, 280, right? And so is that, in your mind, is that due to nicer weather, I mean, in a sense, or because we've upped the security? So I'm curious why we're still seeing such a large increase in the last 30 days.
I think we've seen the camp grow over the last few months from really just a smaller group of 30 to 50 to now estimates are as big as 300. So I think we continue to see that camp grow. And as that grows, obviously, many of them may filter out in the neighborhood, and that's where we're seeing the issues occur.
Do we have any plans to, until that site is no longer there, do we have any plans to continue to increase police presence as that camp grows?
Yeah, so right now, I know there is a plan, I know we're looking at, the city is looking at establishing a homeless shelter that will meet the needs for not only this group, but also the rest of the city and probably the region as well, since we seem to be that regional hub. I hope that within the next couple months, that facility will be stood up. But we will continue to focus on it as we have been. We'll continue to have our officers work that area. Right now, in the second prong of my presentation, it has to do with staffing. Right now, we're filling a lot of our shifts on overtime. That has to do with a lot of retirements, resignations, training, et cetera. So we'll continue doing what we can. And we certainly can put more resources out there as well, more officers out there, but we don't have the resources without that being strictly overtime, which would be time and a half.
Okay. You want to do the second half
Yeah,
here?
yeah, real quick, just an update on where we're at staffing-wise. So when you're looking at January 1st of this year, we went into the year with about 3 vacancies on our agency, authorized 356, plus the 10 hire heads. So 3 vacancies is phenomenal. But as you look at the last 2 years overall, Spokane City has followed the national trend. About 50% plus of officers have retired above what has typically retired in a given year the last 2 years. So our retirements are up over 50% the last 2 years, just like pretty much the rest of the nation. So we had 3 vacancies when we started, but we're now looking at 22 vacancies of officers that have either retired or said they're going to retire within the next couple months. So those 22, and we anticipate there will likely be some more in the next month or two that will announce a retirement. We have 22 currently, as of right now, that have retired or are going to retire within the next couple months. We have 11 officers on light duty that are injured, and we have about 5 on long-term disability. And then we also have about 25 that are in training right now, either in the police academy or in the FTO car. So when you're looking at the overall numbers, we have over 60 positions on the books that we just can't use right now. So when we're talking about these extra details as well, we're typically having to hold officers over or call officers in on overtime just because we do have that 60 number that we just can't use right now. And that's my presentation.
Okay. Any other questions for the chief?
Yeah, Chief, are you able to email us those numbers? Much more visual than
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Both numbers, or are you looking at the camp numbers?
the camp numbers.
Absolutely.
Well,
I'll get that.
I'm both. Might as well
Okay,
do it.
I'll get that off to you today.
That'd be great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Wait, no, sorry. Quick. I've just been wondering this for a while, and since you brought it up, the light duty people, are they available to help with public records responses? Do they do that?
Yes, we have needs everywhere. We have needs public records. We have needs at property. We have needs in dispatch. So we use them. We absolutely do use them to plug gaps in some of the other units that we have. We use them in investigations. So when you're looking at even our felony cases with our staffing right now, we have detectives that can follow up on basically about 25% of the workable felony cases. And that's just because of the quantity versus the number of detectives that we have. So we will also assign them to investigations to help follow up on more of those felony cases.
And then the last thing, and we didn't ask you to prepare for this, so I don't know just off the top of your head, but since we had several shootings in the last few days and we're getting a lot of inquiries from people, I mean, I recall from that evidence you gave us before that last July, shootings went down quite a bit in the city precipitously, and then in October they started coming up, and then most recently it seems like they've been up there. And I'm just wondering what your thoughts are about that and what kind of strategies, early strategies are going on, because people are, again, asking us about it. So I thought, since we have you here, whatever you have off the top of your mind.
Absolutely. No, that's a good question. So when you're looking at the huge spike that we have had in shootings, some of those are drive-bys. Some of those are going to be shootings where someone calls in, they heard shots fired, we responded, we find shell casings, but we don't find bullet holes in a car or a house or anything like that. So those have absolutely increased. When you're looking at the latest shootings that we've had, though, those are, without getting into any details of the investigations, though they run the full gamut, as they typically do. So the huge spike we've seen has been, we believe, driven largely by gangs. One gang versus another gang, but you always have these other shootings that have always occurred, and it can be anything from domestic violence to drugs to arguments to just disagreements. It runs the full gamut. So in terms of what we have done, one of the things that we have really noticed over the last couple years is the number of guns that are on the street. And to be blunt, the number of felons that possess guns. When we find a felon that has a weapon, it's called unlawful possession of firearm, and our arrests for unlawful possession of firearms are very high. The challenge that we're seeing, though, is that typically they're getting booked and then released within a day or two. So to put it from my perspective, I don't know that we're sending the right message when felons have guns and they're getting out within a day or two, that you don't do this in Spokane. So I think we need to evaluate what is happening after our officers arrest them, because they are arresting them. We just need to make sure that once they're arrested, the message is sent to them, you can't be a felon and possess firearms.
Are those, is that a federal crime?
It can be. So the U.S. Attorney's Office can take those, but based on the quantity of work they have as well, they're very selective on which ones they take, but they can.
And Chief, you said that we can only basically investigate 25% of the felonies that are being committed in the city of Spokane currently.
That's correct.
So when you're looking at those cases, which ones get prioritized that get investigated, and which are some that aren't being investigated due to lack of staffing or?
Yeah, it's
whatever reason?
it's a challenging issue, because when you can only investigate about 25% of the workable cases, you have to make some hard decisions. So typically, like when I was the North Precinct captain, I would look at who is a suspect that we believe is involved in multiple felonies unrelated. Because this person is in essence a one-person crime wave. We want to focus on this person. So that was one prong I looked at. Then the next prong I looked at is what was the dollar amount that was stolen. If you have a $10,000 items that were stolen, or a burglary or commercial burglary versus $5,000, we're going to assign the $10,000. And it's a challenging conversation when you have victims who maybe their only contact with the police department is this one time, and we have to tell them we don't have the staffing to investigate, and they've had $5,000 at some level stolen from them, and you try to explain to them, I will have to not investigate this $10,000 crime to investigate the $5,000. So going back to what Council President said as well, that's where we will, when we have light duty, try to plug some of those gaps as much as we can with our light duty.
So if we were able to increase and allow you to have more officers, do we have any idea how drastically we could reduce that number of serious crimes that are not being processed?
Yep, absolutely. I think there'd be a direct correlation between the number of detectives that we assign to investigate those versus the percentage that we would be able to investigate.
And I guess my last question here is, as gang violence and gang activity has increased, what is typically the drive for that? Is it drug related? What is the reason for that increase?
Right now, what we're seeing, and again, trying not to get too far into these, because there are some active investigations occurring. It can be drugs. It can also be one person slighted another person on social media, and they take that very, very personally. And some of it is actually for entertainment. I remember last year when the sheriff's office was experiencing the same thing. You know, one of the things we talked about was, in talking with some of these members, they have resolved that they are either going to go to prison for the rest of their life or they're going to die. They truly, that is the only two choices that they see for themselves. And when you're trying to deal with that and work through that with them, it takes a community to wrap around them, right? We do our part. We try to do our interdiction. And we try to connect them with services and get them out of that lifestyle. But a lot of them are young. We're seeing 15 and 16-year-olds involved in these as well. So it's challenging. I mean, it is very challenging, but it's the gamut of different things that really cause them to want to go and get involved in this lifestyle.
Thank you, Chief.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, next up, update from cops. Patrick Stryker. Patrick, are you on the, there he is. Let's see if
Yes,
this works.
I am on. Can you guys see me and hear me okay?
Yep. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, good. So thank you. I'll take up just a few minutes of your time here. I've got the printed copy now of our annual report. I know you guys got the digital copy I think last week or the week before. And so I wanted to fill you in and just talk a little bit then about how the year ended up for us. So looking up for sense. I'm sorry, did somebody say something?
No, go ahead.
Great, thank you. Looking at 2021, we had almost 40,000 total hours, and that's just our volunteers. That's not including staff. And so the going rate for volunteers, that equates to about $1.1 million of service that we did for the community. And again, that doesn't include staff time on anything. That's just our volunteers. That's a lot of time out there in the community working to keep people safer. We had about 1,200 hours of NOP, which is Neighborhood Observation Patrol. And that's a great program, getting our volunteers out there, being the eyes and ears for the police department. And they do so much when they get out there in terms of reporting and getting information back to their NROs. The NOP patrol people are able to be kind of a gate or a screen, if you will, for the NROs where, the NROs get calls all the time of houses that are causing problems, drug houses and whatnot. And so the question is, okay, well, how bad is this problem? So the NRO knows where to rank it. And so the volunteers can get out there, get eyes on stuff and say, yeah, this is really bad. You're going to want to get out here. Or, hey, we 2 or 3 times and didn't see too much. And so we probably make that a little lower priority. So we're able to help them prioritize. And not only that, but when they're out there, they're engaging people. Our volunteers, we encourage them to talk to people. Don't have negative conversations in terms of accusatory or anything, but feel free to talk to neighbors, let them know what you're doing, let them know that we're out there. If you're driving past a car and you see, a computer, laptop sitting on the dash or something, well, if you see it, a criminal would as well, feel free to go knock on the door of the house and say, hey, I saw them. We've got a laptop, I don't want you to get victimized. People love it when we do that. Typically, they're pretty responsive when we knock on the door and just say, hey, I don't want you to be a victim. Our volunteers, they're intelligence-led. When we're out there, SPD gets them the problem areas. And so having that presence out there in the marked vehicles, I think, sends a message to kind of the criminals that, hey, someone's watching. And I think it sends a message to all the good neighbors as well. Yeah, somebody's coming out there. Then, of course, we've got with those NOP hours, that's out of the vehicles, that's mounted patrol, off-road patrol, pause on patrol. And those programs have really exploded. Mounted patrol, I always say. We've got currently now we're up to 80 horse and riders. That's 80. The New York City Police Department, by comparison, has 55 horse and riders. We're at 80, so love to step on New York any way that we can. Pause on Patrol, we've got over 100 volunteers in that program. Again, getting out there, being the eyes and ears, reporting issues, knowing what to look for, how to report it, and just making the community safer and doing it in positive ways. Last year, we hit the school zones really, really hard. That was a big focus for us in terms of keeping kids safe. And that was great how that ended up. We started off being really focused on working with the administration side of the school districts, and we did, and that was great. But what we found was the crossing guards are the boots on the ground. Those are the ones that know the issues, and those are the ones that our volunteers really built relationships with, talking to the crossing guards about what are the issues, what are the things you're seeing that are putting kids at risk, working with them, and then taking that information to the admin side was great. We even had a number of crossing guards last year that became volunteers with us so that they could use our marked vehicles and get them out there on the times when the kids were present. And that was something we hadn't planned on, but we were able to make a lot of use of that. And I was really excited to see that come to fruition because that wasn't something we had planned on. So not only getting out there and doing those volunteer patrols and stuff, but last year we had about 20,000 people make use of the cop shops in terms of whether it was coming in person or emailing us, phone calls, whatever it might be. That's a lot of people coming through, 20,000, including, we gave out 2,055 dump passes because we partnered with the city on that. And I love it because, part of crime prevention is, most of you guys are familiar with CEPTED, crime prevention through environmental design. And so, when it comes to dump passes, there is that connection that areas that that have a lot of issues, that have the graffiti, that have the cars on blocks and the overgrown grass and stuff, you're going to get statistically more crime in those areas than in neighborhoods that are nice, neat, and tidy. And so I love working with the city to give out those dump passes because we try and really promote, yes, clean up your neighborhood because it will help statistically reduce your risk of crime because criminals don't like areas that it looks like people pay attention and have pride of ownership. The areas that it's the opposite, that's getting your area cleaned up. So love working getting those out. We called back over 2,600 victims of crime last year that had called 911 to report a crime but did not get an officer because, as Chief Mike alluded to, there are just not enough officers to go around. And so then people can feel like they're forgotten, feel like they're slipping through the cracks. So our volunteers call those people, talk to them about next steps, get them all the information they need so that people feel like, yeah, okay, somebody is taking care of me. My calls for service were heard, even if I didn't get an officer. And then, of course, last year we really focused on the business community. That has seen such an uptick of businesses that have concerns and are going, what can I as a business do about that? And so we really pushed our business watch and getting businesses engaged and learning those crime prevention tips and techniques. I've spent a lot of time giving presentations to business groups here the last few months in particular. We even put on a one-day business-focused crime prevention seminar. We brought in a lot of expert speakers that was very well attended. I think I mentioned you guys. We actually had our organization is followed by a lot of police departments, not only across the nation, but even around the world. And so we had international guests with us for that because it was a Zoom meeting, so they were able to do that. And that's great to see how many people showed up, not only from our community to learn what the business can do to be safe, but other police departments and groups that are emulating what we've got. That's just great to see. And then, of course, our crime victim advocates. Last year, those two staff members had about 1,200 meetings between the two of them with victims of crime that needed more than a typical volunteer or cop shop could handle, whether that's those anti-harassment orders, things like that that are a little more serious in nature. So they're helping deal with victims and get their lives back on track. So 2021 was a really great year for us. So thank you to all of you for your support and everything that you guys do for us. Spokane is just such a great community, of course, and we love the support and love everything we're doing to try and help fight back against crime and avoid criminal stuff and helping people to hopefully avoid being a victim in the first place.
Patrick?
Any questions or anything?
Patrick, thank you very much for that update. Yeah, are there any questions? I see Councilmember Stratton.
Hi, Patrick. Can you hear me?
Yes.
I just want to thank you and the organization for all your hard work. I know that serving on the board, I know the time and the effort that goes into everything that the organization does, and you are appreciated. And I know that the neighborhoods in Northwest Spokane appreciate everything you do for them. So thank you for being here today, and thanks for all your hard work.
Yeah, thank you, Karen.
Anything else from anybody? Okay. Well, Patrick, thank you again. It's always great to see those updates. And we'll try to make this a reoccurring thing on the agenda so we can always hear from you.
Yeah, please. Now that I know we're back in person, I'll be there in person.
Awesome. Look forward to that. Okay. Justice Task Force update. Council President.
Yeah, so I'm proposing this resolution for consideration down the line for us. Some of you may or may not know that the county commissioners sponsored a justice task force a couple of years ago, and they had 32 people from all throughout the system: judges, prosecutors, public defenders, law enforcement, mental health providers, community members, and they brought in 2 national consultants, one on just justice systems in general, and secondly, on jails and what's effective and how much we need and things like that. So we spent months and months working through it, and there were 32 people, and we came up with 14 recommendations for the county. As you know, most of the criminal justice system is run by the county, all the felonies, and then misdemeanors outside the city. The city of Spokane has influence on investigating felonies within the city, but not in prosecuting or incarcerating. But we do have our misdemeanors within the city. And so we had several meetings and came up with a report, and we had recommendations, first of all, on approach, which this city council approved a while back by resolution. And then there were also 14 recommendations on how to free up jail beds from nonviolent offenders for violent offenders, like the people with the guns that we just heard about that are being released because there's no room in the jail. For some reason, the county commissioners did not publish those 14 recommendations, and since then there's been some changes in staffing over there. And so I'm proposing that we look at those 14 recommendations and consider adopting them for the city. And at the same time, resurrecting a group that we had in the last administration. We had a monthly group of criminal justice professionals working on making things better. And it was led by Gloria Ochoa-Bruck, who's now one of our municipal court judges. But we really just haven't had that in the new administration, not because they're against it. It's just they don't have someone designated for it. So I'm proposing that we restart that task force and also include some community members. As you might recall, there was a Spokane Regional Law and Justice Council that did this work with community and professionals, but the city of Spokane was removed from it a few months ago. And so since it's a big part of our budget, it's about, 55% of our general fund, it would be helpful, I think, to start up things just so we can do quality improvement. So that's essentially the resolution and the point. And I emailed out to people. The attachment wasn't in the packet, so I sent that out so people can look at them. And you can see that for many of them, well, for all of them, there was wide approval for them. But you can see the people who on the task force who didn't like something. And sometimes it was a prosecutor, and sometimes it was a public defender. Sometimes it was a prosecutor and a public defender, which meant it was a workload issue. But you can see where, if someone had a sticking point on it, you can see the names of those people and make your own determinations of that. So anyway, I don't have a timeline when we would do it, but I just wanted to bring it and get it started.
And so are these being or I guess, do they need to be modified for the city since they were developed for the county?
Yes and no. Some of them are less applicable, and then there's probably other things that this group that I'm talking about that could propose that do, but not particularly. I mean, they're really just in principle kind of recommendations, and they'd be customized.
And who would make up the group, I guess?
It would be, there's not a resolution on the group yet, but it would be definitely the chief of police, it would be our prosecutor, it would be our head public defender, it'd be one of our judges. It would probably be someone from city council. You'd want some community members. You'd want some social service people. So just a broad group. These kind of groups tend to work mostly by consensus, not absolute consensus. But if it's a 51% kind of thing, then it's probably not going to happen.
What do you see the size of that committee being?
That group, I don't know, 15 to 20, probably. It'd be a little bit like. Could be modeled a little bit like our Housing Action Subcommittee that we have, or the new Equity Committee that we're coming up with. The key is to get as many perspectives as you can so that you actually hear them while you're talking about it, as opposed to announcing something and then somebody reacting strongly and saying, this is crazy. So.
Any other? Councilmember Stratton.
Council President, just to clarify, is somebody from the police department on that? Would they be put on that commission as well?
Yeah, so the Justice Task Force that I was talking about, Chief Meidel was on that task force, yes.
Okay.
And would be on this one too, yeah. And
Perfect, thank
Sheriff
you.
Knezovich was as well, yeah.
Great, thank you.
And these would be public meetings?
Yeah.
Okay, any other questions on this one? Not seeing any. Okay, and do you know what the timeline is on that coming forward?
I haven't said it yet, but next couple months.
Gotcha. Okay, thank you for that. And then next up, so I was hoping to have an ordinance to present, but it just didn't quite come to fruition quite yet. I think we're really close. But included in the packets is essentially just some bullet points of kind of some ideas that have been thought about in terms of how we could go about enforcing some of the kind of anti-camping protections that we have, and that we've been limited in how we can enforce those as a result of the Boise decision. And so there was, they came forward, a study done, or a legal analysis done, the Tonkin analysis, and kind of identifying some different strategies in how we can enforce, time, place, manner, limitations kind of being what we need to follow. And I know our city attorney is in agreement that that's the direction that we need to go in order to enforce. And so part of the reason for the delay in the ordinance is trying to talk to our city attorney and make sure that we're kind of putting this together in the best way possible. And so talking to the mayor quite a bit about this the last few weeks, she's really wanting some tools that she can use to enforce. And so I think that doing this by geographic location makes a lot of sense. And so kind of what I had come up with in this idea is that, because you can narrow, you just can't do the whole city, but you can narrow down to certain areas. And so the idea would be that we would follow kind of these key areas: the downtown police precinct boundary, which is a little larger than the current sit-lie boundary as it's established in code, neighborhood business districts, business improvement districts, public development authorities, and then a quarter mile around no, low, or medium barrier shelters. The riparian areas, which we've heard about previously in another item that's come forward. And then, of course, these would be subject to some form of time and manner provisions. And then the other part of this would be storage. So this would actually put into our code a requirement that we store the goods that we've collected from moving people on from these camps. And so the idea would be that we would hold for a minimum of 60 days, and we would have signage at any place where we've moved people on that would identify where they can find their belongings and where those are being stored at. So that's the crux of what kind of has been looked at, and it's kind of a conglomeration of conversations amongst the business community and the city attorney and the mayor and our city administrator. And so would just open it up for any discussion or thoughts or ideas that others might have. Just go from there.
Was any discussion given to parks, any just general family enjoyment areas?
Well, I think we already have limitations on parks because we close them, at 10 p.m. And during the day, it's really hard to enforce certain rules because everybody's sitting and lying in the park. So.
Totally. Yeah. Yeah. And then when it comes to the areas around the river, does that prohibit people from being able to enjoy the river?
Yeah, my understanding, and I think we had an update on this before, but my understanding is essentially it would block it off for anybody. So it's not just one group or one person. It's anybody in that, whatever the area is that we've designated, but in that area, yeah.
Yeah, so my main concern is talking to city legal, because my understanding is the people who prepared that report are the people who lost the Boise v. Martin case. So I'm a little suspect of their analysis since it didn't work. So I just look forward to talking to city legal about it, because we've been dialoguing with them for years, even before Boise v. Martin. So look forward to that.
See anything up there? City Administrator, do you have anything you wanted to add on?
Thank you, Councilmember Cathcart. Council President Beggs, Council Members Cathcart, Bingo, Zapone in person, and Council Members online, Kinnear, Stratton, and Wilkerson. Johnny Perkins, City Administrator. The Mayor has been leading this discussion with the private sector as relates to improvements, revisions, enhancements to sit and lie and illegal camping. But the Mayor also is very interested in collaboration and encouraging dialogue with this council and the city attorney, who also has some thoughts. I also know, I'm very aware, Councilmember Kinnear has had multiple conversations with myself, the council president, many of you, and the mayor regarding this topic. And so as the mayor leads this, she wants to really move forward with a collaborative spirit with this council and the city attorney, as I mentioned, who has also some thoughts and ideas, and move forward to some revisions and enhancements to our sit and lie and our illegal camping ordinances. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay.
I had one more thing.
Yeah,
Chair. And that is one concern I've heard from the neighborhoods is that essentially, if I've read this correctly, it would push these campers to be able to legally camp in the neighborhood. So you'd move them out of the rivers and the downtown, and they would go into the neighborhood. So that's a big concern. And there's a line for the judges will be on this of if you outlaw it in too many places, you've essentially outlawed it. But at this point, as I see this, the only place people could camp then would be on the sidewalks in neighborhoods, which if we did that, we would also have a rebellion. So it's hard stuff. So I look forward to more conversation.
Well, and we're also looking at, more shelter space and some other things too. So there's got to be strategies. I agree with you. There has to be strategies to prevent what you're saying from happening.
Yeah, no,
agree.
Getting the shelter beds, that is under any interpretation of Boise v. Martin, if you have those, then you're good to go and you can enforce the laws that we currently have. So I'm looking forward. I know we're going to hear in the next week or so more about that from the mayor.
Very good. Okay. If there's nothing, I see a hand. Councilwoman Stratton.
So I'm just a little confused. I know that we have had many, many conversations with business groups, Mr. Wendell, those groups. And I know from city attorney that there were some discussions and that that information would be coming forward to city council sooner than later. So is this, Councilmember Cathcart, what you're doing, is this a result of the information from the city attorney that we're expecting? Does that make sense?
Maybe. I guess I'm not entirely sure what the city attorney was supposed to be bringing forward.
Okay, so I will get with him because I know that there had been discussions, and the last time we talked to Chud Wendell about this very thing, the feedback we got was that there would be some information coming forward as a result of conversations going on with the city attorney's office. So how about if I just connect with him and make sure we're talking the same thing?
Yeah, definitely. I don't want to misspeak, so I would definitely want to connect with him first.
Perfect. Thanks.
Okay. Thank you. Okay. Major McNabb, purchase of hostage negotiation vehicle.
Good morning, Council President. I got two things on the agenda today. Good news, you only have to listen to me on one of them. I got some guest speaker for you. This is Lieutenant Dan Waters. He is the commander of the hostage negotiations team. He's going to talk to you about the vehicle, why it's needed, what the team does, and how their role in law enforcement has really grown over the past 2 years.
Thanks for having me. I'll try and make this as quick as possible. I'd just kind of like to give you a general overview of what the team does and how we use this vehicle. So to kind of start out with, I kind of just broke our mission statement down into bullet points. I think 10 out of 10 people on the street, if you walked up to and said, what does a hostage negotiator do? You'd get a pretty standard answer for the first part of it, right? That trained communicator that's brought in to help negotiate the resolve of the incident, right? Using persuasion with the main goal of no force used, right? A collaborative, cooperative resolution to a crisis incident. What a lot of people don't know is that the other side of that is there's a whole team involved in that. Typically in media, we see that single negotiator talking. You might see a few extra people, but it is a large team that is doing a lot of things, and a big part of that is the information gathering to help resolve the incident. information gathered kind of starts with the most important stuff like public and first responder safety, command decision making. But between the time the 911 call comes in and all the information filters out to patrol, officers respond, that's a lot of stuff, and sometimes there's information that's very important in these incidents to get lost. So you have a team of negotiators that are trying to verify that information, and with the goal of making sure that the incident commanders have all the information they need to help resolve this incident. And then finally, the collection and preservation of all of that information for evidence or transparency. So currently our team consists of 14 members. There's myself, the team commander, there's an assistant commander, and then we have the team divided into two 6-person teams. Every incident does not require 14 negotiators. It just kind of depends when we get the initial information, how many people we'll send to the scene. Most bigger barricaded incidents do require a full team call out initially, because once they get on scene, obviously there's going to be a primary negotiator, a secondary negotiator. There's someone called a scribe that's writing down information throughout the incident. You have those, but then you have an intelligence coordinator who's kind of facilitating in the gathering of all that information. You have people that are actually gathering the information. A negotiator might be assigned to the SWAT team up at the incident so that you have a negotiator embedded with the actual SWAT team members. In case the person comes out, you have that trained person there to talk with them. You'll have a negotiator assigned to their armor. We've had a lot of successful negotiations through the bomb robot, so we might task somebody out to that, drones, and any number of things. So it does take a lot of different people to make that happen. And then I noted the SWAT cadre person there. That's usually a senior department member who has retired from SWAT. They are embedded in the negotiation operations center, embedded with the negotiators, and their whole goal is real-time information. In the olden days, if SWAT sees something out on the scene, by the time it gets relayed to negotiators or vice versa, a lot of things could happen. So that way we have that person who's able, if something emergent happens, they send that information right to the SWAT team so that there's no surprises. Last year we had just over 50 activations. So far this year the team has had 30 activations. I kind of broke them down into 3 levels. The patrol response is typically 2 or more negotiators that are specifically requested to help resolve an incident. We've had 21 of those so far. SWAT barricade call-outs, those are the bigger incidents. We've had 6. If SWAT is going to go out and do a high-risk warrant with a known person that just to be safe, they'll bring negotiators with them. They usually bring 2. We'll drive their armor for them or we'll do something. So they immediately have that trained person there to speak. So far this year, there's been about 12 incidents that we would have taken our crisis communication vehicle or our negotiation operations center to the scene. And historically, up until the last few years, I mean, if we had a 15 call-out year, that was quite a bit for us. It's grown exponentially. So how we resolve crisis calls. I already touched briefly on the information. That information is critical, from the decision-making to the safety, and then finally that information that supports the negotiation process. That could be family members, anyone that might help us to give us information that could benefit our communications in the resolve. The equipment and technology side, we do use some software. I mean, like Microsoft Teams is a big go-to for us. That way we're able to input information into Teams and between laptops and cell phones. Information is disseminated amongst all the team members and any command people that want to have that. We have a separate phone system. If we don't have any way to communicate with somebody inside, we have a phone. It's known as a throw phone because it does have the ability to actually throw it into the house or throw it through a window, and so we can have that direct communication with somebody if all else fails. I already mentioned the other things there. So then, of course, to resolve the crisis, there's the dialogue, and that is ongoing and constant. It may be through Facebook Messenger. We've had quite a few of those lately, a lot of text negotiations, any number of ways that we're having dialogue to resolve that. Throughout the incident, we're doing risk assessment and negotiation updates. Anytime that we're offline from somebody, whether the person says, I need a moment, can you just give me a minute? Okay, we'll call you back in a couple minutes. Anytime we're off the phone, then that's when we gather to kind of discuss what we need, discuss what's going on, and come up with a strategy for the next time we're on the line with this person. And then, of course, risk assessments and keeping the command post updated with the information that we're getting. And then finally, the last thing there is that records retention that I mentioned before. So what do we use our vehicle for is that's that quiet, separate space. As you can imagine, when you're in a crisis situation, there's a lot of noise. You have firefighters, you have ambulances, you have SWAT members, officers, whatever is going on, there's a lot of chaos there. So we need a place where we kind of isolate our negotiation team so that they can have a quiet space to work. And separately isolated from that main body of negotiators is where the actual communicators are talking, where we have the primary negotiator and the secondary negotiator and that scribe, so they have absolute quiet, so they can laser focus on the conversation. And because in these situations, when someone's in crisis, they're hypersensitive to the noises that are around them and any background noise. If that with the intel coordinator saying, hey, I need you to go grab this and this person here and do, that can get pretty noisy. So having that isolated space away from that chaos. The vehicle is the information hub. When you walk into the Crisis Negotiation Center, it's our goal that you have every piece of information that you need. It's posted on the walls. You walk in the door and it'll list out the team assignments. It'll have suspect information. It'll have information we've gathered about family, about all those sorts of things that are really pertinent to that call. The negotiators will have things that to completely avoid, what could be triggering for this, don't talk about this, and what kind of things a person might enjoy, and that's all the information gathered from friends and family and other needs. So, then of course we have the SWAT cadre member there listening. We have our workspace for our intel coordinator. The intelligence officers have workspace, and then for equipment storage is some of the primary reasons we use this vehicle. This is our current vehicle, 1999, just a standard motorhome. When we got it, we tore out the bathroom, we took out the vanity, the shower, the toilet, and in the far back there, you'll see that's where the primary negotiators are. That was a bedroom, just taking out the bed, and all the tanks are there, the fresh water and the other tanks are there, so we just put a platform to work on there. So you can see this is where the bathroom was. This is mostly just equipment storage for us because, as you see, that's just an accordion door there. There's no soundproofing or anything, and anybody trying to work and talk in that is overheard by everybody, and it's very distracting. This is from a recent call out for a homicide suspect. That's the primary negotiator and the scribe kind of sitting back. You can see some of the equipment they're using, the cell phone system, and basically that piece of the piece of wood that goes in a kitchen, the countertop, has the equipment sitting on there. It's about shin height, and there's some folding chairs there. So that's the negotiation center back there, and then this is just one of the workspaces we use. Not ideal because they don't have power and hookups for the laptop and ability to spread out and write. So the proposal that we're here to talk about, here's kind of the schematic overview of it. You can see on the left-hand side, that's a soundproof room with enough room for 4 people, so your primary negotiator, secondary, and anybody else in there. You have some of the equipment storage, the electronics. Then you have kind of the open area. You have a television monitor on the wall. You have a place for your incident commander, your intel coordinator. You have the 3 seats in the tip out for any intel gathering, and then monitors and the electronics and everything so that everybody with their laptop plugged in is able to send information to all the screens, send information quietly back to the negotiators. So again, this gives us that quiet space with the soundproof door, gives us workspace for the workstations for everybody else. Wired for technology, all that stuff. Your information hub is all right there. All the walls are whiteboards, so instead of using the big Post-it notes and paper that we stick to the wall, we're able to write all that stuff so you can still go in there and have everything be right there. So equipment storage, the technology package, 4x4, our current motorhome does not have four-wheel drive capabilities. They took it up to the lower South Hill this year, and I cringed. Surprisingly, it made it, but being able to have 4x4 is pretty big, obviously, for us here. Lastly, the cab will be also wired for a secondary negotiation area, so there's oftentimes we'll be maybe negotiating with the suspect, but we need to call a parent. We need to record a message for the subject in crisis from their parents. It just gives us another workspace that's isolated and quiet so people can make phone calls.
All right, thank you, Lieutenant Waters. He's going to remain here for questions. I just have one last slide here about the cost. So they found the vehicle. They found this company that makes this vehicle. They're very expensive. It's custom made in Montana, I believe. To be thorough, I had Fleet go back out and do a search of all vehicles that could be made like this, and they eventually came back to the same company, the same model that the hostage team found to begin with. So $448,760 is with tax included. That was $60,000 cheaper when I got a bid in December. So that's the cost of materials going up, supply chain issues. So hopefully that doesn't continue to go up and it's going to top out at some point. This was included in our 2022 capital improvement plan, part of our 2022 budget, and the money is coming from a SIP transfer that will be assessed through a joint SBO with both police and fire, I think next week at the Finance Committee.
So, Major, when you say Fleet did an analysis, I mean, did they look at things like other RVs or panel vans or anything like that and outfitting those and how those would work out?
Yeah, sorry for the brevity. They did all that. They were looking at going to, just converting a motor home. I said, well, $400,000. I mean, you get pretty nice motor home for $400,000. And they did that. They went down that road. They went down finding other vendors that make this vehicle. They did a total cost of ownership analysis, and they came back to this vehicle.
So when you were choosing the vehicle versus RV versus this, what was your priority? Was it cost or was it functionality? What was your priority?
I think the priority is functionality first and how this is going to work. There's a lot of technology in this vehicle that Dan can explain that I don't quite understand myself, that it didn't make a whole lot of sense to convert a passenger, camping type motorhome into what they actually need.
So for what it would be used for, this is the best that we could find to accomplish the goal for our SWAT teams and our negotiation teams. This was the best that we could find.
This is the best that we can find, the lowest price. I will say that I did not redo the total cost of ownership when the bid went up $60,000 due to material costs.
And
If there's a question on the call, just jump in because we're not seeing you.
I do have several more questions. I apologize. What is the life of this vehicle?
Well, that's a great question. So one of the things that we liked about this company is it's a 12-year warranty, and that's including any electronics updates or any software updates. So relatively local. A lot of the manufacturers are on the East Coast, so 4.5, 5-hour drive is better than other things. So it does have a long warranty.
Okay. And what are some other cities? Are there other cities our size that have a vehicle like this?
Yeah, there's quite a few. It kind of runs the gamut because there's a lot of hand-me-down stuff and a lot of agencies are buying used things, and we did saturate the used market. We were able to find 20 and 30-year-old vehicles similar for about the 100,000 range, but it was a 2001 vehicle.
Right.
Yeah, there's agencies who have bigger vehicles, and there's agencies that have some smaller vehicles.
Are there any examples of cities in Washington that have a similar vehicle?
You know, I reached, the two I didn't hear back from were Tacoma and Seattle. I reached out to their team leaders a while back, and I had not heard what they use. Portland has a little bit bigger team. They have about a $600,000 large vehicle, very similar to this.
Yeah.
But, yeah, just in terms of pricing, just,
And then what would happen to the other vehicle that we're currently using this capacity?
We'll dispose of it, auction it off.
It has mice, right?
It has, yeah, they've had a mice problem in that vehicle.
yeah, it has quite a bit of water damage. We did actually take it out to R&R RV a couple of years ago and say, what can you do to make this what we want? You know, they were willing to tear things out, put the whiteboards up, and you know, we were looking at 80,000 to 100,000, but we didn't know how much water damage because there was quite a bit of water damage in there. So
Okay,
we have explored quite a few different options.
yep.
The hostage team has gone from going out on the very largest incidents to being a different model of where they are at every incident now, and they're embedded with the SWAT team. They're in the Bearcat. With this earlier this year, we purchased them, or was it late last year? We purchased some safety equipment so they could be up front with the SWAT team. So they've really become part of the solution for all these contentious calls.
Okay, any other questions? Again, not seeing you if you're on the call.
I have a couple. Yeah, so it sounds like this has been in the works for a while, and I guess I'm curious why it wasn't included in the big ARPA SBO that we were looking at for public safety vehicles, because this sounds really important and it's a big ticket item. So why wasn't it included in that same package?
That's a great question, Council President. That was a matter of finance directing me which funds this would come out of, and they said it would be the SIP fund coming out of our capital improvement plan.
Okay. Well, I think that's, I mean, I get that you were instructed, but I think that's really unfortunate because it's helpful to get all the asks all at the same time so we can prioritize what's important. This seems super important. I guess similar, any reason why this wouldn't be eligible for forfeiture funds?
No reason at all.
Okay, great. Thanks.
But this was included in the 2022 capital plan, so it's not as if we haven't asked for it until now. It was already asked for, correct?
Right, it's in the
Right.
2022 budget.
Okay. Anything else?
Yeah, I'm just going back to the comparisons of other cities. So what cities did you contact that are using it? I heard Portland or similar,
Regionally, I don't know what Seattle and Tacoma is.
or across the country, just in general, what cities are using these types of vehicles?
There's quite a few. You can actually go to the manufacturer websites and they'll kind of list out the vehicles that they use. I mean, across the board, most teams have something that they use.
All right, so you're coming back next week at finance, right? Or is that something you could provide? Is that
Finance
different?
is coming back.
Oh.
It's a joint SBO with fire and police to move. It sounded like a budget cleanup issue, really, to me. So.
All right. I think it'd be helpful for me to see what cities are using it and then what similar size to Spokane are using too.
Okay.
That'd be really
I can
helpful.
get that to you.
Okay. Anything else? Hearing none? Okay. The federal forfeiture SBO funding discussion.
Yes. So I got 4 SBOs. There's a reason for that. One is for federal funds. And Council President, I was just thinking as I was answered your question about this vehicle, I don't know if we can get there out of drug seizure funds, because that's our biggest balance is the drug seizure funds, where we have the most money. If we can make a direct nexus to the furtherance of drug enforcement activity.
But do these, because if I recall the Attorney General opinion, it doesn't have to be exclusively used, it just has to be some overlap. There's some of these barricade situations involve drug enforcement?
Yeah, and the warrant services. So I think there's some gray, I guess is what I'm going to say there.
Because I remember that Attorney General opinion where they said, no, it doesn't have to be exclusively as long as there is a nexus. So,
Great.
But I appreciate the point.
Yeah, thanks. Okay, so I've got 4 SBO requests to utilize forfeiture funds. One is for federal fund, and the other 3 are for state drug fund. Just as an overview, we had Matt Folsom here last public safety going over the forfeiture rules, how we can use the money, what the case, the state law is, what the federal guidelines are. So why we do forfeitures allows SPDs to deter crime by removing the profit incentive while defraying the costs of investigating the crimes. state law pertaining to the drug forfeiture funds is retained funds are to be used, quote, exclusively for the expansion and improvement of controlled substance-related law enforcement activity. So today, we're asking to use these funds to purchase essential equipment at no cost to the taxpayers. Fund balances, so in the federal fund, which has a little more leniency as far as what you can use it for, is at $155,000. The state drug fund is at $691,000. We anticipate another $200,000 probably deposited in there by June. Sometimes it takes several years. We're depositing stuff from 2014 recently, so it takes a long time for it to go through the whole process of being vetted out before it's available for use. So we had some budget allocations for forfeiture funds in the 2022 budget. Out of the federal, we had $11,000 for software, $4,000 for minor equipment, and then $25,000 we do a one-time donation to Partners and Families with Children. We have so for the past several years. We do another $10,000 on top of that out of general fund money. So out of the state funds, we do $5,000 for legal services. That is for the civil enforcement. We do $80,000 of confidential funds. That's buy money for drug enforcement. And then $25,000 for an undercover vehicle, which brings us to a grand total of $110,000 for state, a grand total of $155,000 for both. After those allocations, it brings the federal balance down to $114,000, brings the state balance down to $575,000. The ask for today is just under $300,000. 24th, and after that, the balance in federal will leave $24,900 in federal and $365,000 in state. So the federal fund SBO is $89,960. It's $75,000 for office furniture, that is cubicle partitions and desks. Currently,
Which building?
this is for the Gardner building, and when we got the Gardner building, there was no furniture included with it. So one of the now retired officers knew somebody who worked at Safeco. They were going to throw out all this furniture, and they gave it to us. We took it, and we're still using their cubicle walls, some of which are held together by zip ties. We have no way to hold them together.
So to clarify, it was literally trash that we said, hey, one man's, yeah.
Yeah, so we've been using that. I have a desk, it works fine, but the desks are another issue. We continue to get, what do they call it, ergonomic assessments from risk management, and it's to the tune of about $2,300 per officer. When they get one of these done, when they get a stand-up desk, monitors with arms and a special chair, and we have no budget line for this. So we're hoping to use these funds to cover some of that. So the half of that, $75,000, would be for cubicle partitions to replace the ones that we don't have the hardware for or are falling apart. There's a minor equipment ask in there. We crashed one of our drones during an incident. We often use them in the situations that Lieutenant Waters was describing. We send the drone in when we have legal process to do so. Send the drone into check-in area rather than sending on officers through there. So, and it provides intel. That way we don't have to send an officer in there and force a confrontation or report the officer in danger. So that's $70,000 to a replacement drone. Our fatal vehicle collision unit needs a $4,500 computer reader, and we need $3,000 of personal safety equipment.
Quick question, as you know, we're looking at potentially relocating the Gardner building people to out on East Sprague if we do purchase that municipal justice center. And I think they already have furniture out there. So would it be a good idea to kind of decide whether we're going to do that or not? Otherwise, it seems like if we buy a bunch of new things that don't fit at the new place.
Well, I guess I don't know where that's at and how likely that is to happen. I'm just looking at my detectives right now,
Yeah.
And I would like to honor them with some decent furniture. I think
Yeah.
it would help their morale. I think it would acknowledge the hard work they do. We're very lucky to have the detectives we have in this city. We have over a 90% success rate in solving our homicide crimes as opposed to 68% average national.
Wow. Yeah.
So I think this would help.
No, I get that. It's just that if we were able to do this new thing, then we'd have that $75,000 for other enhancements for them. So but I get
Agreed.
that until you hear that we're doing it, you need to pursue this.
Yeah.
So,
I hear you.
And if we were to purchase that municipal justice center, would the partitions that we're purchasing for this building be able to be repurposed in any other SPD facility to where it's not, we haven't lost the $75,000, but we've been able to take that furniture and transfer it to another place, another area of need?
Absolutely, and with the stand-up desk too, when an officer retires and has this $2,300 stand-up desk set up, we can use that for different officers. So I think that this is a wise investment to buy some decent furniture it can be used
So it's
elsewhere.
not just lost money if we were to move forward with something and repurpose the Gardner building. That's still, this equipment that we purchased could still be used in a future capacity by Spokane Police Department.
Right, I don't think we'd be wasting money.
Sorry, this is a separate question going back to the vehicle being used for forfeiture dollars. I am curious as to how we can use forfeiture dollars to purchase the vehicle, because my understanding was that we could only use $25,000 at any one time for those forfeiture dollars, and I must have a misunderstanding of that.
So, yeah, the $25,000, that's a federal guideline, and that's for what we can give to outside entities as a donation.
Thank you.
Any questions on this one, the federal? Okay, so moving on to CI funds, confidential funds. This is via the state drug forfeiture fund. Sometime way before I was doing this type of work, our budget for confidential funds got reduced from $120,000-ish to $75,000, $80,000. We're finding that we're running out of money. As you know, that fentanyl is rampant in our community. We're seeing an astronomical amount of overdoses compared to what we used to see, and we're also seizing way more fentanyl. I think 1,098% more fentanyl seizures in Spokane County recently. So we're doing more of these transactions, and that's the way we can deter this type of activity, is to do our drug investigations, is by having the money to go out and purchase drugs, develop a probable cause. We do several of these on a case, and then we build a case against a defendant that way. And essentially, at the end of the day, we serve a search warrant and generally seize that money, if not more, back. But as I said before, it takes several years before that goes back into our account. Over the years, we've had to supplement the confidential informant money with our general fund money at the end of the year because we've run out and don't want to put an investigation on hold. So you'll see in 2018, we had to supplement $5,000. 2019, we had to supplement $11,000. 2020, we had to supplement $29,000. And last year, I had to supplement $3,000. So what we're asking to do is to take that $80,000 and bump that up to $120,000 by a $40,000 increase in confidential funds access.
And do you have numbers for the first quarter this year as far as?
I do. I should be getting those to you probably in the next couple weeks, Council President.
Because it looks like we're only out of whack by 3,000 last year. So,
Yeah.
Ben, you're talking about
For this year, we're averaging 10,000 a month right now.
And how many cases or investigations, I guess, rely on having access to these resources in particular?
Drug investigations, 100%. And we also use them to purchase information.
Are we talking like dozens of cases, hundreds of cases a year? Kind of where are we at? And
I don't have that figure. If I was to guess, I'd say we're around the hundreds,
Okay.
in the hundreds. So each case, if it's a big enough case, we'll be doing 2 or 3 transactions before we actually go to enforcement. All right. So just to recap that the Washington State Department of Health shows fentanyl-related overdoses have increased 186% between 20 and 2021 here in Spokane County. The amount of fentanyl seized is increased by 1,098% between 2020 and 2021. So to answer your question, yes, Council President, we're averaging 10,000 a month in drug purchases, and we're asking with that pace to it be at 120,000.
I have a quick question. Historically, do you see it staying constant throughout the year, or is there a flow in cases throughout the year?
It's hard to predict. It depends on what they get into, but it seems to be fairly constant, what I've been watching over the past year and a half. All right, so this is the next SBO, the third one. This is for software and minor equipment. This is to renew our Celebrite premium subscription for mobile devices. This biggest asset of this software is to be able to unlock a device. Once we have a search warrant, to be able to unlock a device and do it quickly. We use these for drug investigations, homicide investigations, and they work quite well. Recently, we acquired Celebrite Premium, which led to the 19-year plea bargain in a federal human trafficking case and production of child pornography. And without Celebrite Premium, if we don't get this, we're going to have to try to find the money elsewhere to get it, because more and more, every single case we deal with has some facet of technology in it. There's rarely do we ever see a case nowadays where they're not downloading a phone or serving a search warrant on Google or Facebook to try to get information. Once, before we had this, we had to, as for a homicide case, we had to send a phone out, and it cost us $2,000 to send it out to a vendor. So as the amount of, I don't have the amount of cases that would need it for today to see if we justify that $65,000 expenditure, but I think we can easily get there.
And there are a lot of, I guess, checks and balances to make sure that it's never used without that search warrant.
Absolutely, yeah. In fact, there's a separation between the person that actually does the extraction and the person that's investigating the crime.
Okay.
Yeah, that's something that Sean Ernst set up, where we have the digital forensic lab does that work, and it's a request through the investigations department.
And what's the difference in being able to expedite an investigation by having this program versus having to send a phone out for analysis?
Hours to weeks is the comparison, yeah.
Is this an annual renewal, or?
It is. So this would get us through. And as you know, with forfeiture funds, we can't commit to future spending. We can't supplant. So this would be for 2022. That's, imagine by the time this money gets approved, it might be lower than that because we'd be prorated for the rest of this year. The other part of this SBO is to get a vehicle-mounted camera system for the Bearcat. What I've noticed on a recent officer-involved shooting when I was doing the Deadly Force Review Board is when they're watching the body cameras, when they're holding a rifle, all that's concealed by their equipment and things. This would allow them to have a camera and from inside the vehicle where it's safe to be able to point it towards the action and also record that for later. So this is recently the SWAT team asked to have body cameras, and I think they want this type of transparency in their actions.
I'm all for it, but is it really $10,000 for a camera?
It is. It is that if you want all the bells and whistles, they have one for 70. So this was actually the cheap version. So if you wanted all the FLIR and all that stuff, they wanted $70,000 for those.
And yeah, and I guess on this question, because this may be ignorant speaking here, but I feel like you could get a GoPro with all the bells and whistles for like $500. So what's the difference in something like that that's commercially available to the lay folk versus people who are in the service?
I think it's the mechanical abilities of it, where you can direct it to point in a certain direction. I think it also has some zoom capabilities. I could send you the information on it.
Yeah.
Are there any other questions on these? Is this your last
I have
one?
one more.
Okay.
Your favorite. One more. Okay. Undercover vehicles. So the last SBO is undercover vehicles. So like I said, in the budget, we got $20,000 allocated to us for undercover vehicles. What we're finding, the price of used vehicles is skyrocketed. We can't get a vehicle for $25,000 that's going to last any certain amount of time. Recently this year, we lost 2 undercover vehicles to collisions. One officer was T-boned while driving, just driving home. I'm not sure exactly where they were headed, but they just got T-boned by a big delivery truck, vehicle totaled. We don't have a mechanism to replace it. Another vehicle was totaled when they were boxing in a suspect, and that suspect rammed the vehicle to get away. So we want to replace the 2 that were destroyed and to be able to have enough money to purchase that 3rd vehicle that we were allocated in the budget. So Fleet has said it's going to cost us around $40,000 to buy a reliable used vehicle that's going to last any number of years. And so what we're asking for is a bump of $95,000 that will allow us, if you add the $25,000 onto that, you'll give us $40,000 for 3 vehicles each. And
How long do you, I thought last time we talked, we don't keep them in service that long.
we do, and we've really talked to the detectives. We're really scaling back on the commissioning, so there's not so much gadgets put in them nowadays, pretty minimal. So they would like to keep these vehicles as long as possible. The one we're replacing has 150,000 miles on it. Most of the vehicles are assigned. They have 4 spares that are high mileage, and then they have 4 other multi-use vehicles that couldn't be assigned as a full-time vehicle.
I guess for the undercover purpose, like after a certain amount of time, the cover's blown.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I guess that's what I'm.
Yeah, that happens. If that does happen, they'll park it and they'll use one of the spares for a while.
Is there ever a time where a made vehicle can be put back into service?
What's that?
Can made vehicles that are undercover been identified as an undercover vehicle, can they ever go back into service, or is
Yeah.
it they're just done?
Yeah, they're not so distinctive to where they couldn't be put back in service, and after they sit for a year or two or a couple months, depending on what the circumstances are.
Couldn't we just trade them in? I mean, pay the difference if we need to, but trade them in and just get a different vehicle so it stays in service rather than sitting for 2 years?
It's a great question, and the answer is it's really complicated because of the forfeiture funds and the way purchasing works. I tried to say, well, why can't we just trade in 2 vehicles and get one nice one? And I guess I was politely told it doesn't work that way. It's like, okay.
Could we find out more about that? Because we've got this new agreement with Enterprise to get vehicles,
Yeah.
lease them and then, trade them out. And so maybe someone needs to come present, because it's not $40,000 for a used undercover vehicle. It seems.
I know it sounds like a lot. They did go out and do a comparison. This is the deal that Michaela came up with, and these are the used cars. Kind of the mileage. They said they don't really want us buying anything with more than 36,000 miles on it because of the frequency in which these are being replaced. If we're only allowed to replace 1 per year, we want them to last for a significant amount of time.
But I guess is kind of Councilmember Cathcart's. Can we make an agreement with a used car dealer that says, hey, we're going to use it for 20,000 miles and then we're going to give it back to you and get a new one? I mean, can we?
Yeah.
I guess I'd like to hear that. It seems like that would be given that we want to cycle through them so that they remain unique.
Yeah, I can definitely look into that, Council President.
Yeah, so for whoever said we can't do that, it's super complicated, maybe hearing from them why we can't do that.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. I think Council President's idea of leasing, kind of some sort of a unique agreement where we can rotate vehicles, might be something to look at. The trade-in, get back, separate transaction part, the way it was explained to me, it did sound pretty complicated and maybe unattainable because it's through forfeiture funds, so it
Yeah.
It
But
has
I'm
to
wondering.
go back into the forfeiture account. I don't know how to explain.
But we
it.
could use forfeiture funds to buy a regular patrol vehicle too. So we might be able to do equivalencies.
I don't know that we could use the drug forfeiture funds to buy a regular patrol vehicle.
They're enforcing drug crimes. So
Yeah, I guess.
it sounds like we just maybe have a study session and we have
Okay.
a roundtable brainstorm about it.
Okay, sounds good. That is it. That's the
Okay.
4 SBOs.
Is there any further questions from anybody?
Again, I don't expect you to answer this today, but as you can see, we have lots of questions for you. My understanding after our last session was that there's no state restriction on investing money in youth intervention programs that can prevent drug use, and especially when we've got all these gang issues right now. So my homework for you, not that
Yes.
only if you agree to it, I can't make you do it, but I'd love to hear which youth intervention anti-gang programs in the community you think the department thinks are the best, so that if we wanted to attack that system using some of these forfeiture funds, we would know which ones you think are good.
Yeah, and one idea I talked about with the chief was, what if we did a request for proposals from local youth drug treatment programs, gang intervention programs, and how that, I mean, I have to sort it out with legal, how that fits into forfeitures, but that was one idea.
Okay, I love it. Okay, thanks. Thanks for all your work for us.
Yeah, it's like Councilwoman Stratton.
Go ahead, Karen.
You're muted if you're talking, yeah.
I apologize, I didn't mean to have that on. I'll turn it off.
Oh,
Okay. False alarm.
okay.
Okay.
All right. Thank you very much, Major McNabb.
Thank you.
Okay, last item on our list here is fire resolution that that I'm bringing forward. And so the idea is we've gotten some updates just on kind of where we're at on fire overtime costs, and it's much like last year, very high, and it's certainly a concern of mine. And one of the reasons that was pointed out is simply because of our lack of staffing. And we had a little bit of an update on this during Chief Schaefer's update earlier in this meeting. But the intention of this is simply to try and encourage some creative thinking in how we address the fire overtime costs, preferably without reducing services or browning out any departments, as has been one thing that's been brought up as a possibility. But the other part of this that I think is really important is that we can quickly restaff, and we can do that by bringing on some of those firefighters who were let go in the fall. And there are still ways that we can bring them back, much like other jurisdictions did. And so really what this resolution is calling on is for us to identify a path to get those folks rehired, to help in part to address our staffing shortages, which would also address our overtime costs. And so that's the intent behind the resolution. And so certainly would welcome any questions or comments.
I would like to get a report, not necessarily today, but just from the chief when he gets a chance to find out how many people that might be, because I know we've hired several of them back in other capacities. Several have retired, several have gone to other departments. So I'd kind of like to know what that number is, would be helpful.
The estimate I've heard is it's probably 12 or 13
It doesn't, yeah.
is what I've heard.
And also, I think it's important to note that some of those that were hired back were not hired back in their preferred job or what they had before, and they've taken something lesser with less pay just to continue working and being in that capacity. So even those that we've hired back haven't necessarily been hired back at what they were before.
Yeah, we could get it. I know probably the dispatchers might not have been, but for these deputy fire commissioners, I don't know what their pay is compared to the fire. So it'd be good to get a report on that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I also think it'd be great if we could get a report, some interim report from our CFO, just kind of on the status of the overtime analysis and where that's at and what that's looking like.
We sadly are going to get that soon with an SBO. It's a lot. But I'd also, again, there were reasons, health reasons for people who weren't willing to get vaccinated to not be in the field providing medical care to people who are vulnerable. And so I'd like to, again, when we talk about this, hear from the administration what their reasoning was, and has anything changed in that?
Sure.
Yeah, I think it'd be interesting to hear from the community as well if they'd rather have brownouts or somebody who's unvaccinated being able to serve them in their needs. I think I would imagine I know the answer to that question.
They promised no brownouts.
Other questions?
Yeah, I just had a question. Does this change anything that Chief Schaefer or Johnny can be doing right now?
No, but this is just a statement from the city council directing them to consider moving in that direction. I think it gives them some confidence that we'd be behind them.
Aren't they currently moving in that direction, from my understanding?
Nothing I've heard. I've heard nothing about bringing back firefighters.
Or pursuing looking into it? I guess it just says to look into it.
To look into
Or
it.
like to take steps to reduce the increasing financial burden. I'm just looking at the resolution.
Oh, yeah.
You go to the next paragraph.
It's on the last.
The further resolved.
Okay, shall include, okay.
Yeah.
So it just says you can, but we don't know if they're actually looking into that now.
To my knowledge, they're not. Any other questions, comments, thoughts? Okay. Well, that is all that we have for today. So if there isn't anything else for the good of the order, we can adjourn our public safety meeting.
I was just going to mention, we're still waiting to hear back, I think, from City Legal, whether we're going to do our 115 or not. But yes, we are. Okay.
Okay.
Great. All right. Super. Thanks.
We're adjourned.